back on that's you there where it says SECON.
Yes, sir. I'm here, Your Honor. I've had a couple internet issues.
And then Mr. Palmer is here. Give me just a moment here. Mr. Palmer, could you raise your right hand, please? Or no, I'm sorry, Mr. Oliver. I misspoke. Mr. Paul, I'll hear from the petitioner first, then Mr.
What starts as fear quickly turns into a legal test. Accusations are made, emotions run high, and reputations are on the line. Now the judge must decide if concern crosses the line into harassment.
Mr. Palmer, I'll hear from you. Mr. Oliver, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have proof of service in here? And Mr. Palmer, before I hear from Mr. Oliver, were you served with this?
Yes,
Somebody
I was served.
delivered this to you?
Yeah, I was served 2 days ago.
All right.
Okay.
I think we did that. Are you ready to go? It was late service. Are you ready to go here this morning?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to hear from Mr. Oliver, and then I'll hear from you. So, Mr. Oliver, you've been sworn. How is it you need an order against Mr. Palmer?
Ongoing harassment all year long.
You need to tell me specifically what he's been doing and how he's been harassing you.
Well, it started with lights shining in my windows every time I go outside at night. He had something mounted on the side of his house, like a spotlight. He'd shine that in my windows. He'd shine it in my face. He literally walked down to our driveway just to specifically shine his light in me and my mother's face. We told him to knock it off, and he just kept doing it. And then it's been intimidation. It's been threats. It's been him and his girlfriend's
Well, again,
house
how
harassing us from
intimidation?
there.
You need to be specific when you say things like that.
Well,
so how is he
I put
intimidating?
everything in the report, so that's what the report was for.
No, you need to tell me on the record. I've sworn in. I need to hear your sworn testimony.
Okay.
So tell me what's been going on out there.
Other than it's just ongoing harassment with the shining lights, specifically walking down to the front of our property to just stare into our windows. When he's over at his girlfriend's house, he stares into our windows when he's over there. A couple weeks ago, he looked like he was prowling around their property, looked like a golf club or something. We called the police on that because he was staring into our property while he was prowling around theirs. And then he hid from the police because they couldn't find him that day.
Did he come onto your property?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
But he was.
Well, okay. So, I mean,
it's just ongoing intimidation and harassment. It's been going on all year. And it's that kind of stuff. It's just little things like staring down your property, just loud talking you when you're walking down the street.
What do you mean loud talking? I mean,
like threatening.
I don't understand.
Like when I walked in front of his house one day, I'm sorry, but I have to swear because that's what I heard. I'm going to F your shit up. And he claimed he was having an argument with someone else, but there was nobody else around. And this was after I'd already reported him to the police for harassing us, me and my mother. I live here with my mom, and she's not happy with any of this.
How long have you lived there?
I have lived here since last October. My mother has lived here for over 30 years.
How long is Mr. Palm? Was he there when you moved in?
I believe he was, yes.
Okay. So how did all this start?
I don't know. I introduced myself to that person when I first moved in, trying to be a grown-up. Other than that, I've had no relationship with that person other than when he's decided to just start harassing us for some reason. And I don't know. I don't know why.
Did your mother used to get along with him before you moved in?
No.
Well, he did some work for her. He was supposed to clean off her entire roof, but he only cleaned off half of it. And he never showed her any proof that he did it either. And he was supposedly someone that works in this community, and he had access to all these lots. And I've told the HOA about his behavior because it's also affected other people in this community.
Let me hear from Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer, could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
I can What's your response to what you heard from Mr. Oliver?
I'm not exactly sure what his issue is with me, but I've never talked to him, and he has never informed me of his problems. I do have a girlfriend that lives right next door to his house, and and that's her. She's here with me, and I do work for her mom that is handicapped, and I also did work for around the community, like he had said. And I did work for his mother, and I did finish the job, and I also did the deck on her house too, and that was above and beyond what she wanted me to do, but I did it anyway because it got dirty for cleaning off the roof. But she paid me. She said she was happy with it, and that's the last communication I had with her, and that was sometime during the summer before he moved in.
This last.
Yeah, and the summer before he moved in was when I did the work for his mom. After I moved, or after he moved in, there was a tree that was cut down on his property that he needed to have cut up, and I went over there and cut it up for him for free, and hauled off all the branches and everything. But that's the extent of the any kind of communication or like interpersonal contact that we had with each other.
So do you live next door does your girlfriend, the woman there next to you, live there? Where do you live relative to all these people?
I live across the street from my girlfriend's house, and it's like up on a little hill. And so you could walk down the hill and go directly to her house, and then her house, and then his house is to the left.
Okay.
And when I walk down that hill, when I have my flashlight, sometimes it's a steep hill and it's muddy sometimes, and I've slipped a few times, and even her daughters slipped on that hill. So the only thing that I could think of is maybe my light was shining when I walked down the hill. It might have shined in his window or something like that, unintentionally. But I never even knew it was an issue until Sharon Hunter had came and approached me one day and told me that I wasn't allowed to walk by her house anymore, or their house anymore. And I go, why can't I walk by their house? And she's like, because you're harassing them. And I said, I'm not harassing them. I'm not doing anything to them. And she's like, well, you shined a flashlight in their eyes one night. And I said, well, what happened was I was walking down the road and looking for my wallet because my dog had got out earlier, and so when I was trying to chase him down, I somehow dropped my wallet somewhere, and when I was out in front of their property, I'd found it on the ground, and I heard some noise, so I shined the light over toward their property because I didn't know what it was. There's no street lights here or anything. It's completely dark, and I didn't know what was going on. But when they yelled at me and told me to stop, I stopped and I left, and I apologized, and I didn't hear anything about it after that, until Sharon had said something to me.
And then who's Sharon? Is that?
She worked for the ECC board, and she's some friends with his mother, I guess.
Okay. What about, when I hear from him, like you're staring at him, or?
I never even look at him. I didn't even know what he fully looked like until I saw him on the Zoom meeting. Because I don't never go that close to him or talk to him. He's not important to me. And I didn't think it was as big of a deal it was. If he would have came and talked to me, he would have known that my girlfriend lived next door. He would have known that I did work for him. And the day that he's saying I was in the bushes or whatever, and I won't lie, I was in the trees right in front of their property, and I was trying to cut down a tree that was dead and gonna fall on their house. And that's why I was in there. I had a chainsaw, I had a set of climbing spikes, and a rope and a harness.
All right, let me hear from Mr. Oliver. Kind of seems like he wants to say something, so let me hear from him.
Just about everything he just said is not true at all. He never cut anything down for free on our property. That was a community job. He did not have a chainsaw when he was over there pretending to cut down anything. He was prowling their property. He was peeking in their windows. I did not see a chainsaw.
Who's they?
His girlfriend's house. That's where he was prowling around that day. He did not have a chainsaw. He claims he was there to cut a tree down. Well, he was peeking and peering in their windows while he was staring into our
again,
window.
Mr. Oliver, you're the petitioner here. And
Yeah.
so if he was doing something, and that the girlfriend, I think, is there right there. Is that
Correct. Yes. Right next door to him. Yeah.
so? Doesn't seem like she has an issue with that,
No.
but I haven't heard from her. But so,
Well, I'm just
and
saying,
hang on just a second. The community
claiming
project, we're cutting that tree down. Was that something that he was involved with?
I did not
Brian?
see him cutting any tree down. He did
No,
not. He
you
says he
I'm
has a
talking to him.
chainsaw, and he had no chainsaw. He had nothing like that.
And I saw him too.
The day he was prowling and I called the police on him, he did not have a chainsaw. He was
But he
peering
was
in their
prowling on
windows.
somebody.
And he already admitted he was hiding in the trees.
Okay. But that was involving somebody else, not you.
He was staring into our property the day he was doing that. That's why we called the police, because he's already been harassing us. And he says that he's never met us. He says he's walking down his trail and he accidentally shined his light. There is no accident when someone literally walks to the front of your property and shines the light on you. And I would also like to ask, why would anything of his ever be in the front of our house? Ever?
Mr. Palmer?
I know you probably don't want to hear it, but like I said, I dropped my wallet out of my pocket when my dog had got out earlier that day, and that's what I was looking for. That's why it would be in front of the property. I'm sorry.
What about the comment that's attributed to you that you were going to F someone's S up, for lack of, and I'm paraphrasing there.
No, okay. That was not directed toward him. It was an incident between me and my neighbor, and I had showed the police officer the text messages on the phone to the neighbor, not Mr. Oliver, but my other neighbor, Mike. And he had the police officer told me that there was no crime involved, and just to be careful what I say, because if somebody overhears me saying something like that, they might attribute it like I'm talking to them or something like that. And I explained to him that I wasn't talking to him and that I don't even know Mr. Oliver.
To say that he doesn't know me is a lie. I told you, I introduced myself to him when I first moved in like a grown-up. So for him to sit there and say he doesn't know me is ridiculous.
Have you had any interaction with him since you introduced him yourself? Other than what you've described?
No, I have not.
Okay, and that was a year ago?
Yeah, it was around October when I moved in. He was working in front of our house, and he did not say he was doing anything for free.
All right, well, here's where I'm at on this. And so, as I said before, unlawful harassment is a knowing and willful. Of course, we lost Mr. We're going to have to wait for him to come back on. And you're back there, Mr. Oliver. As I was starting to say, unlawful harassment is defined as follows: a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such persons and serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. We'll talk about the course of conduct as a series of acts over a period of time, however short, evidencing continuity of purpose. And frankly, Mr. Oliver, at this time, well, I'm going to cut to the chase, and then I'm going to explain why. I'm not going to enter an order. In terms of harassment between neighbors, we see a lot of things where there's a lot of verbal, yelling and screaming, threats of harm, and stuff like that. As far as I can tell, the only time you ever heard of any sort of threat was, again, I know you think it was directed at you. Mr. Palmer indicates that no, that was directed at somebody else for some reason. He showed a text to an officer, which I haven't seen. But even then, that was that single. But things like, I'm not making a fine. We do see things where people put up stadium lights on the edge of their property, shine into someone's house, which I didn't hear today. The fact that you saying, well, he's staring at you, and I just don't find at this point that doesn't rise to the level of harassment or whether an order's been entered. So I'm not going to enter order here today. Having said all that, Mr. Palmer, you need to think about how you conduct yourself out there, because A lot of times people can do things that may be misinterpreted, and you need to think about how you conduct yourself out there. You've heard it from Mr. Oliver here today, and hopefully you can conduct yourself in a way that doesn't cause him to think it's necessary to come to court and file an order. Having said all that, there, Mr. Oliver, I'll come back to you if this escalates in any way and things, like I say, things escalate, you can refile and ask for an order. But this time, I'm not finding that it rises to the level where a full order is warranted. And this will be dismissed for now. And you both are free to leave the Zoom call. So, Mr.
Thank you, Your
Palmer,
Honor.
again, I hope you take a lesson from this, but that'll be the end of it for today.
In a courtroom, proof matters more than feelings. Without clear evidence, the law cannot step in. This case ends with a dismissal and a reminder that words alone are not enough.